Far away from Earth, in the deep silence of space, there was a council of alien races. They were old and powerful. Their empires spread across 1,000 stars. They had destroyed many worlds before, and they believed they were unstoppable. But this time, they were not talking about another weak planet. They were talking about Earth, the home of humans. The council chamber was filled with tall figures, glowing eyes, and strange voices. Each alien leader claimed they knew everything about humans. They said humans were violent, humans were divided, humans were weak. They laughed and said Earth would fall in days if attacked. But one voice did not laugh. It was the voice of an elder alien. Older than any of them, his skin was pale like stone. His eyes burned with memory. He had seen many wars. He had seen many races rise and fall. He looked at the others and said slowly, "Do not attack the humans. They will never surrender you." The chamber grew silent. The younger aliens mocked him. They said, "Old one, you are afraid. You forget your power." But he did not flinch. He leaned forward and repeated, "You do not understand what you are planning. Humans are different." One commander slammed the table with his clawed hand. He shouted, "Different? They are primitive. They still fight each other. They waste their own planet. How can such creatures be a danger to us?" The elder looked at him and spoke with calm fire. "That is why they are dangerous. They fight themselves. Yet they survive. They fight nature. Yet they rise again. They lose. But they always return stronger." The aliens whispered among themselves. Some laughed again, but others listened carefully. The elder continued, "I saw their wars. I saw their history. They do not know peace. But they do not know surrender either. When pushed into darkness, they find light when trapped. They break the chains when conquered. They rise again." Another alien leader leaned forward with a smirk. "Are you telling us that these humans, who cannot even unite their own planet, are a threat to empires that rule galaxies?" The elder's voice grew sharp. "Yes, that is exactly what I am telling you. If you strike them, they will not bow. They will resist with every breath. They will fight with stones if they have no weapons. They will burn their own world before giving it to you." The council grew tense. For a moment, the laughter died. But pride is strong in the hearts of conquerors. One alien admiral stood and declared, "Then let us test them if they are so unbreakable. Let us break them ourselves." The elder's eyes burned brighter. "You will regret this. You will lose more than ships. You will lose your future." But no one listened. The sound of voices, the sound of arrogance filled the chamber. Plans of invasion, strategies of conquest, all written in cold voices. And in the middle of that storm, the elder sat silent. He knew what was coming. Far away, Earth turned slowly under the light of its sun. Humans lived their lives, unaware of the danger above. They worked, they fought, they loved, they dreamed, and soon they would face something greater than any war they had known. But the elder alien had seen enough of history. He whispered to himself, "They do not know it yet, but the galaxy will learn. Humanity will never surrender." The chamber doors closed. The decision was made. The invasion would begin. The alien fleets would gather. Their weapons would be pointed at Earth. They believed it would be easy. They believed humans would kneel. But in the shadows of the stars, one truth waited like fire. The elder's warning echoed in the silence of space. "Do not attack the humans. They will never surrender you." And so the story began. A story of war, a story of defiance, a story of a species that refused to fall. The galaxy would soon learn the meaning of the elder's words. The question was not if the humans would fight. The question was how far they would go, and what they would become once the stars turned against them. High above the blue world of Earth, the alien fleet drifted in silence. Their ships were sharp like blades, glowing with strange light, hiding in the dark of space. Humans did not know. Humans did not look up. They lived under their skies, thinking they were alone, but the aliens were watching. Every city, every nation, every signal carried through the air. Inside one of the great ships, Commander Varen stood before a wide glass screen. He looked down at Earth, at the moving oceans and the clouds. He said in a cold voice, "They do not even guard their skies. They do not even know we are here." His officers laughed, confident, cruel. Yet there was one among them who did not laugh. A younger officer, curious, uneasy. He whispered, "But Commander, they fight each other every day, and still they stand. Is that not strange?" Varen turned his burning eyes toward him. "Foolish thought. Division makes them weak when we strike. They will scatter like dust." The younger officer fell silent. But his mind kept turning. He remembered the elders' warning. Words passed from ship to ship. Words many ignored: do not attack the humans. They will never surrender you. The aliens began their study. They listened to human broadcasts. Music, news, angry voices, and hopeful ones. They saw humans run into burning buildings to save strangers. They saw humans fight wars, destroy cities, and then rebuild them again. They saw humans cry and then laugh, even in the same day, and this confused them, for no other species in the galaxy lived like this. One scientist among the aliens spoke in the council room of the ship. She said, "They are not logical. Their strength is not in unity. Their strength is in spirit." But the commanders only smiled. They said, "Spirit cannot stop plasma fire. Spirit cannot destroy a fleet." The scientist lowered her head, but she kept her records, for she felt something was coming. Something no one was ready for. On Earth, life was normal. Children went to school. Markets were full of voices. People argued about politics. Nations argued about borders. No one looked to the stars and thought an enemy was waiting. Yet strange things began to happen. Astronomers saw lights that moved too fast. Radar screens showed shadows that vanished. Pilots whispered about objects that followed their planes. Governments kept these secrets quiet. They did not want panic, but whispers reached the people. And fear began to grow in one small observatory. An old human scientist stared at his telescope in disbelief. He saw a pattern. He saw shapes hiding behind the moon. He whispered to himself, "They are here." No one believed him. Not yet. But the truth was closer than ever. Back in orbit, the alien commander prepared the first test. Not a full attack, not yet, just a probe, just a message. A small ship was sent into the atmosphere. Hidden, silent, it flew over deserts, mountains, and cities, watching, recording, but humans saw it. First a farmer in a lonely field, then soldiers on a base, then thousands of people with cameras pointed at the sky. The first contact had begun, even if humans did not understand it. The aliens pulled the probe back. They listened to human reactions. Fear, laughter, denial, excitement. Some humans said it was a trick. Others said it was hope. The commander smirked. They are blind. They do not see what is coming. But the younger officer's heart was heavy. He had seen the look in human eyes, a strange fire, not fear alone, but defiance. That night, news spread across Earth. Strange lights, strange ships, strange shadows. For the first time, millions of humans looked at the stars with suspicion. For the first time, they felt something greater than their wars. They felt a hand reaching from the dark sky, and something deep inside them whispered, "We must stand together." The aliens did not know it yet, but the first seed was planted. Humanity had seen them, humanity had felt the presence. And when humans know they are not alone, they change. They become more than what they were yesterday. The elders' words still floated in the minds of a few. Do not attack the humans, they will never surrender you. And so the silence before the storm stretched longer. The aliens waited, humans wondered. The first contact was not war, not peace, but a spark that would soon turn into fire, a fire that would spread across worlds. And once it began, nothing in the galaxy could stop it. The night sky above Earth glittered with stars as it always did, but hidden in the blackness, massive alien warships moved into position. They looked like dark mountains floating in space, silent but heavy with fire. For weeks they had studied Earth, measured its armies, and mocked its weakness. Now the commanders were ready. The invasion would begin. In the capital of the alien fleet, Commander Varen stood tall. His voice echoed through the command deck. "Today we take Earth. Today we show the galaxy that humans are nothing but dust." The soldiers roared in agreement. Metallic claws struck against steel floors. Voices screamed in hunger for conquest. No one doubted their victory except one, the younger officer who had seen the fire in human eyes. He stayed quiet, but inside he remembered the elders' warning. Do not attack the humans, they will never surrender you. On Earth, people lived their ordinary lives, children played, workers rushed home, and lovers walked under the moon. But then the sky broke. Lights appeared, thousands of them burning like falling stars. Cities looked up in awe, then in terror. The alien fleet had arrived. No longer hiding, the invasion had begun. Sirens screamed across nations. Military bases rushed to arms, jets scrambled into the air. Missiles rolled out of hidden bunkers. Leaders spoke on screens, their voices shaking. Some shouted for peace. Others called for war. But ordinary humans looked at each other and felt the same truth. There was no surrender, not now, not ever. The first alien strike fell on a coastal city. Bolts of plasma tore through towers, turning glass and steel into fire. Streets burned, people ran. The sky itself seemed to scream. The aliens believed the humans would collapse. They expected cries of surrender. But they found something else. They found resistance. Firefighters rushed into burning ruins to save strangers. Soldiers fired back even when outnumbered. Ordinary people formed chains to pull survivors from rubble. And even in the middle of destruction, voices shouted, "Stand together. Don't give up." The aliens watched this madness and were confused. They had seen species surrender before the first strike ended, but humans did not break. In orbit, Varen slammed his fist, crushed them harder. Show them no mercy. More ships descended, more fire rained, yet every attack was answered by resistance. Jets darted like insects against giant ships. Missiles struck and broke smaller vessels even when destroyed. Humans adapted, learning, striking again. One alien soldier on the ground captured a small group of humans. He looked at them, expecting fear, begging, silence, but instead, one young human stared back and said firmly, "You can kill us, but you will never own us." The alien trembled. Because he felt no lie in those words, across the planet, resistance spread. Old rival nations called each other enemies yesterday, allies today. Humans who never agreed before now fought side by side. The aliens had wanted to exploit division, but instead they had created unity. The younger alien officer stood watching the chaos on his screen. He whispered, "Commander, this is not how other worlds fall." "They are not breaking," Varen snarled. "They will break. Everything breaks. It is only time." But even he felt a small shadow of doubt. For every city they destroyed, more humans rose. For every life they took, more voices shouted to fight in one hidden bunker. Human leaders met, their faces pale. Their nations burning, but their words were strong. "We will not surrender. We will fight in every city, in every street, in every corner of this world." And outside that bunker, soldiers prepared, families prepared. Children held hands with parents and whispered promises. If humanity must fall, it will fall fighting. The first day of invasion turned into the first night. Skies glowed red, seas boiled with wreckage, but Earth still stood. The aliens had expected silence, obedience, surrender. Instead, they found fire. They found defiance in the darkness of his chamber. The elder alien who had given the warning sat alone. He closed his eyes and whispered to the stars, "It has begun, and they will never surrender you." His words traveled through the silence, but would the galaxy listen? Would the invaders learn before it was too late? The invasion was no longer about conquest. It was the beginning of something greater, a storm that would reshape the stars. And at the center of that storm stood humanity, bruised, bleeding, but unbroken. The war had just begun. The world was burning, but humanity was not broken. From ruined cities and fallen towers, voices still rose, not voices of surrender, but voices of defiance. The invasion had begun with fire. Yet the humans refused to kneel, and so the resistance was born. In the mountains of South America, villagers armed themselves with hunting rifles. In the deserts of Africa, tribes hid in the sands and waited to strike. In the crowded streets of Asia, young men and women built barricades from broken cars. In every corner of Earth, humans turned their fear into strength. They were not soldiers, but they were ready to fight. Alien soldiers marched through cities with shining weapons. Their armor glowed. Their machines crushed the streets. They believed humans would scatter like insects, but instead humans came from shadows. They struck with knives, with fire, with stolen alien rifles, and every time one human fell, two more appeared to fight. On the coast of Europe, a squad of alien warriors captured a group of survivors. They demanded surrender, but one old woman stepped forward. Her hands shaking, yet her eyes burning, she said, "We do not surrender. We never will." Her voice carried through the air, and even the alien soldiers hesitated. For in her eyes there was no fear. In America, underground bunkers became centers of resistance. Scientists worked without sleep.
Studying alien wreckage, they learned quickly.
Adapting alien weapons into human hands within days. Captured plasma rifles were turned against their owners. Within weeks, damaged alien drones were reprogrammed to spy for humanity. The invaders had expected savages, but they had awakened inventors in Asia. A group of students climbed to the roof of a burning school. They planted a human flag made from torn cloth. Aliens shot at it, yet the flag kept rising again. The students shouted, "You cannot silence us," and their cry was heard across radios, across hidden networks, across hearts. The resistance was not one army, it was everyone, everywhere. The aliens grew angry, they burned villages. They crushed bridges, they poisoned skies. But still humans resisted in one battle. A squad of alien machines rolled into a valley. Expecting victory, they marched forward. But the mountains above exploded with fire. Humans had set traps with stolen fuel and dynamite. The machines fell, burning, crashing into the rocks and from the smoke. Humans charged with nothing but courage. The younger alien officer watched reports with wide eyes. He said to Commander Varen, "They fight in every shadow. They rise after every defeat. This is not war. This is survival." But Varen roared, "They are animals. Animals always break," yet deep in his mind, even he began to wonder, how could animals fight like this? How could they resist so endlessly? In a hidden camp in Africa, humans gathered around a radio. A message crackled through the static. It was not from generals, not from kings, not from presidents. It was from ordinary people. Do not surrender. Wherever you are, fight, survive, resist. The message spread from camp to camp, from bunker to bunker, from broken street to broken street, and soon, every fighter carried the same words in their heart. Do not surrender. The aliens captured one human soldier. A young man, his body wounded, his face scarred. An alien asked him, "Why do you fight when you know you cannot win?" The human smiled through blood and whispered, "Because freedom is worth more than life." The alien stepped back in silence, shaken, for he could not understand such madness. Yet he feared it. The resistance grew stronger, not because of numbers, not because of weapons, but because humans carried something the aliens had never faced. They carried hope. Hope that one day their children would see a free sky again. Hope that one day Earth would stand tall. Hope that even in death their sacrifice would mean something. Night after night the world glowed with fire. Yet behind that fire, in the ruins, in the ashes, in the broken cities, humans fought on. They were no longer defending only their homes. They were fighting for every dream, for every song, for every heartbeat. The resistance was not just war, it was survival. It was identity. It was humanity itself, and high above, in the silence of space, the elder alien whispered again, "They do not know how to surrender, you cannot break them. You can only awaken them." The galaxy would soon see. That resistance was only the beginning. The storm of humanity had just started to rise. The world had burned for many days, and the aliens believed victory was near. Cities were in ruins, armies were scattered. Smoke rose from every horizon. But deep under the ashes, something was changing. Something the invaders did not expect. The humans were learning. In a hidden lab beneath the ruins of a destroyed university, a group of scientists worked without rest. They studied pieces of fallen alien machines, glowing shards of metal, cracked weapons, broken drones. Their hands were cut, their tools were old, yet their eyes were sharp. Within days, they discovered patterns. Within weeks, they built answers. The invaders had brought their weapons to Earth. And now Earth was turning those weapons back. One night, a group of resistance fighters attacked a small alien patrol. They carried nothing but stolen rifles and courage. But when the battle ended, they brought back something greater. An alien plasma cannon, broken, heavy, still glowing with strange light. The scientists studied it, and for the first time, a human weapon fired alien fire. Soon, across the globe, rumors spread. Humans had plasma now, humans had drones. Humans had eyes in the sky, in the forests. Resistance fighters shot down alien ships with weapons once used against them. In the deserts, reprogrammed drones flew silently. Spying on alien movements in the cities, bombs built from alien fuel turned the night into thunder. The invaders felt the change. The tide was shifting. Commander Varen watched reports with growing rage. He slammed his fist against the console. How can primitives twist our technology so quickly? This is impossible. But the younger officer whispered the truth. It is not impossible, Commander. It is human. The turning point came in the Battle of the Northern Sea. A fleet of alien ships moved across the waters. Their guns glowing, ready to strike, they expected no challenge. But waiting beneath the waves were human submarines. Old machines of steel, upgraded with stolen alien energy cores. The submarines rose from the deep like beasts of the ocean. They fired torpedoes laced with alien fuel. The sea exploded in pillars of fire. Alien ships burned, twisted, and sank into the dark for the first time. Humans had destroyed an alien fleet. News of the victory spread faster than fire, across radios, across whispers, Across broken streets, voices shouted, "We can win, we can fight. We are not finished." And the resistance grew bolder. Every battle became more dangerous for the invaders. Every city became a trap. Every human became a soldier. In South America, a team of farmers turned alien shields into armor. In Europe, children carried reprogrammed drones through tunnels, delivering maps to fighters. In Africa, villages built hidden launchers using alien fuel. Everywhere, humans twisted weakness into strength. The aliens realized too late. They had not conquered Earth. They had trained it. Inside his ship, the young alien officer stared at the chaos on the screens. He saw humans rising again and again. He whispered to himself, "The elder was right. They do not surrender. They adapt." And for the first time, fear touched his alien heart. Not fear of death, but fear of what humans were becoming. In a ruined city, an alien soldier faced a human fighter. The alien was taller, stronger, armed with glowing blades. The human carried only a broken plasma pistol. But in the fight, the human did not retreat. He charged, shouting with fire in his voice. And when the battle ended, the alien fell, and the human still stood. That story spread like a storm. Humans fight even when broken. Humans rise even when bleeding. The galaxy had watched in silence. Other alien races had seen Earth burning and thought it would fall. But now they watched again, and they saw something different. They saw humans striking back. They saw humans taking victory from ashes. And whispers began to move across the stars. Perhaps the elder was right. Perhaps the humans are not prey, but predators. The war was far from over. Earth was still scarred, humans were still dying, but now, hope burned brighter than fire. The invaders had expected slaves, they had found warriors. The invaders had expected surrender. They had found defiance, and the turning point had come. High above, in the silence of space, the elder alien closed his eyes. He whispered into the dark, "It has begun. The humans have awakened, and they will never surrender you." And the galaxy shivered at the thought. For when a species learns to fight with both courage and stolen fire, no empire can ever be safe again. The war had turned, but the invaders were not finished. For every alien ship that fell, more arrived from the dark. And at the heart of their fleet was the mothership, a giant fortress of steel and fire, larger than mountains. Its shadow stretched across oceans, its guns burned cities in seconds. It was the weapon that could end Earth. Humans knew they could not match its power. Their rifles, their drones, even their captured ships were too small. If the mothership stayed, Earth would burn to ashes, and so, the leaders of the resistance gathered in a hidden bunker, their faces pale, their voices heavy. They spoke of one final plan, a plan that would cost lives, a plan that demanded sacrifice. In the bunker, a young pilot named Arya stood tall. She had flown stolen alien craft before, daring and fearless. Her voice did not shake when she said, "I will do it, give me the ship, give me the chance. I will end it." Others argued, others begged her to stay, but she only smiled. "If I fall, let it be for Earth." Beside her stood Captain Rylan, a soldier who had fought since the first day. He had scars on his face, fire in his eyes. He placed a hand on her shoulder and said, "Then I will fly with you. No one makes this journey alone." And around them, more hands rose, more voices spoke. A team of heroes was chosen, not because they were the strongest, but because they were willing to give everything. The plan was simple but deadly. A stolen alien ship, loaded with human explosives and alien fuel. It would pierce the mothership's shield and strike its heart. The team knew there was no return, yet none of them stepped back. The night before the mission, they sat together in silence. Some wrote letters to families they might never see. Some prayed, some laughed, some cried. But all of them felt the same truth. Tomorrow, Earth might live because of their deaths. At dawn, the stolen ship rose into the sky. Humans across the world looked up. Some whispered blessings, some whispered goodbyes. The heroes inside felt the weight of the world on their shoulders. Yet their hearts were steady, for sacrifice was their gift. The alien fleet saw the ship and laughed. They thought it was weak, they thought it was foolish. But as it cut through the black sky, faster, brighter, burning with courage, even the younger alien officer felt a chill. He whispered, "They are coming for the mothership," and for the first time, he wondered if the unthinkable could happen. The battle was fierce. Alien ships swarmed to block the path. The stolen craft shook as fire rained upon it. Arya gripped the controls with iron hands. Rylan fired the cannons, shouting, "Hold on. We break through or we die here, one by one." Alien ships fell, torn apart by desperate fire. One by one, human heroes were wounded, yet still they pressed on. Finally, the mothership loomed ahead. Its shields glowed like a second sun. The stolen craft was breaking apart. Alarm screamed, metal cracked, but Arya's voice was steady. "This is where we end it." The team prepared the explosives. Their faces calm. They knew their names would not be forgotten. The ship pierced the shield with a final surge of stolen energy. The mothership's heart was within reach. Arya whispered, "For Earth," Rylan whispered, "For humanity," and with a blinding light, the stolen craft struck. The sky itself exploded. The mothership burned, its walls collapsing, its weapons silenced. A wave of fire spread across the alien fleet, tearing ships apart, and for the first time, the impossible had happened. The greatest weapon of the invaders was gone on Earth. People watched the sky turn from fire to silence. They fell to their knees, they cried, they shouted, they sang, for they knew heroes had given their lives. And because of them, Earth still breathed. The aliens recoiled in fear, their commanders shouted, but their soldiers trembled. For if humans could destroy the mothership, what else could they do? The galaxy shivered as news spread. Humans had sacrificed everything, and in that sacrifice they had won high above. The elder alien whispered into the void, "This is their strength. Not weapons, not numbers, but sacrifice. They give their lives so others may live, and no empire can defeat such power." His words drifted through the stars, and the invaders finally began to understand the truth. The war was no longer theirs to win. The mothership was gone. Its burning remains drifted across the sky like shattered stars. For days the fires glowed above Earth, a reminder of the heroes who gave everything, and a warning to those who thought humanity could be broken. On the ground, the people rose from the ruins. They buried their dead, they healed their wounded, but their hearts were stronger than ever before, for they had seen the impossible. They had seen sacrifice defeat an empire. Children painted the names of the fallen on broken walls. Songs were sung in streets that still smoked with fire. And across every city, voices whispered the same truth. We do not surrender, we never will. The alien fleet was shattered. Their commanders lost. Those who survived fled into the dark. They carried fear with them, fear of a species they once called weak, fear of humans who would rather die than kneel. And in every corner of the galaxy, the story spread. It traveled faster than light, whispered through trade ships and shadowed empires. Never attack the humans, they will never surrender you. At first, many laughed just as the council once did, but then they heard of the mothership, and the laughter turned to silence. In hidden palaces, alien kings grew restless. In steel fortresses, warlords gritted their teeth. If Earth could stand against such power, what would happen when humans reached the stars themselves? What would happen when they carried their fire beyond their home? Back on Earth, the resistance was no longer just survival. It had become unity. Nations that once fought each other now shared food, shared weapons, shared hope. For the first time, humanity stood not as tribes, not as borders, not as flags, but as one. The young officer of the alien fleet returned home in silence. He stood before his leaders and said, "You asked what makes humans dangerous. Now you know it is not their weapons, it is not their strength, it is their spirit." But his words were met with unease, for they all remembered the elder's warning, and they all feared it had only begun in a quiet corner of Earth. A mother told her child about the sacrifice, she said. They flew into the fire so we could see another sunrise. The child looked up at the sky, wide-eyed, and whispered, "Then we must fly higher. We must honor them." Her words carried the promise of the future, a future where humans would not hide in fear, but step boldly into the stars. The galaxy now waited in silence. Would humans remain on Earth, guarding their world with iron hearts? Or would they rise, carrying their defiance into the void? No one knew, but one truth was clear. The age of conquest was over. The age of humanity had begun. High above in the endless night, the elder alien sat alone. His voice was soft, yet it echoed through the emptiness. "I warned you and you did not listen. Now the galaxy will never forget. Never again will humans be called weak. Never again will they be ignored." He closed his eyes and breathed slowly, because when the stars themselves turn against them, the humans will rise, they will resist, they will fight, and they will never surrender you. And so the story ended. But it was not an ending at all. It was the beginning of something larger. The beginning of legends whispered across the stars, the beginning of fear in the hearts of empires, and the beginning of hope in the hearts of humans. The fire of sacrifice still burned, the memory of heroes still guided, and Earth stood not as a broken world, but as a promise that humanity, fragile yet unyielding, would rise again, a promise that the galaxy would remember forever. For in the silence after war, a single message remained, carved into history, carved into hearts, carved into the stars themselves. Do not attack the humans. They will never surrender you.